Hi everybody, today we have a litter update for this litter of 1 week old Australian Labradoodle puppies. Hi, I'm Claire from Van Isle Labradoodles, and today we are going to be telling you all about our 3 seasons litter. This is Spirit's litter, and these puppies are all going to be really nice size medium Labradoodle puppies when they mature. So the puppies are a week old. They're actually a week old in 2 days because I didn't put the update date in my calendar, and so we're 2 days behind on doing our litter update for this week. It's in the calendar now. So we are going to go through each of the puppies, and we'll do those puppies in birth order. We'll tell you what their weight gain has been over the past week, what's gone on with the puppies in the past week, and we'll also give you an update on our Mama Labradoodle Spirit here and what's up with her. So we're going to start off with our little update on Spirit. Spirit's doing really well. This is her 4th litter. This is her last litter, her retirement litter. And she is a very seasoned and experienced Mama Labradoodle. You can tell that she knows what she's doing because the puppies, you can see, are completely content. They're so relaxed. And when we go through their birth weights, you'll just see how much these little Labradoodles have gained in just 1 week. And you will also see that they all have really good sized tummies. They are juicy puppies, really fat, sassy, and healthy puppies. And Spirit herself, you can see she's a beautiful weight. She's not lost weight after having the puppies. She's eating really well. Her appetite is really quite good. Now when I feed Spirit rather, I am here in the whelping box with her. She does not eat out of the nest, and so I sit in here with her. I bring her her food and I feed it to her by hand. She will not eat it out of the dish herself at this point in time. She's quite concerned that she's always near the puppies, that she's always taking a good stock of how they are and what's going on with them. And she also really enjoys the fact that we eat together, so to speak. So that's fine. I'm more than happy to accommodate her and any of our Mama Labradoodles in that regard. Fortunately, she's not too fussy about what she eats, although she definitely does prefer to have beef most of the time. Lamb is a close second, but not her favorite. Fish is definitely off the menu right now. Turkey's good. Chickens, well, maybe. But beef is definitely what she prefers the most. And she is on a 100% raw diet. So she is eating about 3 to 3.5 pounds of raw a day. And then we also give her a little extra supplement of B vitamins and some calcium, and she does have her usual pre-probiotic that we give her and all of our dogs every day. So all of that goes through the milk and makes for a really nice, well-balanced, very nutritious diet that comes out on the milk bar here, and you can see that by the puppies and their vitality and also in their weight gain. And you can see, particularly in yellow and pink's coat, just how shiny and beautiful these coats are. And that comes from having a really good balance of micronutrients and having a lot of the omegas properly balanced and a good supply of them. So that's our beautiful Mama Spirit and the news on her. The puppies themselves, originally this one here who is orange collar, oh my goodness, that was a talkative puppy. And then I was thinking, but this morning when I was in here with them, that when I did the video today, that I would be telling you that, oh, he's quite quiet now and he really doesn't talk. Well, that went out the window when it was time for Spirit's lunch, because he didn't find himself one of the faucets at the milk bar, and he was just beside himself. He was running to and fro and just screeching his head off. Spirit was not very pleased that she had to interrupt her lunch in order to get him all settled and find a spot for him. It was really kind of funny. He's the only one who really makes a lot of noise. The others are all very quiet. And until today at lunch, I hadn't heard Orange speaking for a while either. So typically, again, because Spirit is a seasoned mom and knows what she's doing, she knows to roll over on her side and to expose all of her various nipples. So that way, all 6 of the puppies can easily find themselves a nice spot at the milk bar. Now, when she runs out of milk at one location, then you see them all, I gotta find another place. But because there are 6 of them and she has more than 6 spots available, everybody is generally happy. So they're pretty good at figuring out how to work their way underneath her or in between her paws here, how to burrow in underneath. If the top row is all taken, they'll go in underneath there. And you can see right now that black and blue collar have got themselves positioned right up close to Spirit there. She's perfectly fine with that. She doesn't mind if they're sleeping right in front of her. She will end up adjusting her position to accommodate them. So let's go through the puppies now, and we'll start with Black Collar Girl because she is the firstborn puppy in this litter. Hello, my sweet. So this little lady is a beautiful caramel color, just a gorgeous shade, really a beautiful golden caramel color. Very, very same color throughout her whole body. It's nice, even tones. And then we got these little dip toes here for you. And she has some white as well on her chest. And you can see she's so full and she's so content. She's just, sometimes when the puppies are only a week old, Mom doesn't like me to hold them up like this and the puppies will squirm around. But everybody's very content and calm in this litter. And Black Collar Girl, she is now weighing 641 grams. So she's already over a pound, which is just great in a week. And her initial birth weight was 318 grams. So really good. What we really like to see is a doubling of that birth weight if possible. So right on target there for Black. So we'll just put her over here. Now next is Squawky Pants here, Orange Collar. Hello, sweetheart. Hello. Hello. And Orange Collar is actually a girl. I was referring to Orange as a him, but she is actually a girl. Hello. Now, one thing that's really interesting about this puppy is I can already see the beginning of slits for the eyes opening in this puppy. Now, if you go back and look at Spirit's other playlists for her other litters, you'll always hear me saying how Spirit's puppies are always so far ahead of the curve in terms of reaching their milestones. So generally speaking, her puppies do open their eyes early. They do start eating solid food early. They hear early. They do everything early. So Miss Orange Collar Girl is showing us that she is going to be following in the footsteps of her brothers and sisters. And you can see she's sticking her tongue out there because she figures it's time to eat. I think that's all she ever thinks of. And it looks like she is going to have perhaps a black nose, just like her mama, in which case then she will be an apricot tuxedo. And a tuxedo is when we have these beautiful white markings around the collar here, around the neck. So you have a white ruff, lots of white on the head and the face, such as this pretty little girl has. White on the chin, white on the chin and the chest, like a bib of a tuxedo shirt, and then white up the legs. So this little girl is a true tuxedo, and she has a little white tip here as well. So she's a true tuxedo. Now, however, with her apricot coloring, it's quite likely that that will fade out to a degree where you hardly even notice the white markings. So Maisie, who is Spirit's daughter from her last litter, she has a brown nose. So she's a caramel, and she was a tuxedo, but she is faded out so much that you can't see that at all. She looks identical to Spirit. She has no evidence of any caramel coloring except for around her ears. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens with this little girl. We have another girl named Sierra, and she is an apricot tuxedo. Actually, that's not true. She's a caramel tuxedo. She has a brown nose. She's Hazel's daughter. And she's retained her coloring quite a bit, so you can still see those markings. So we'll just have to wait and see how Miss Orange Collar does here. But definitely she is going to have that beautiful big black nose, just like her pretty mama Spirit has. There's one thing I really am a sucker for, and that's a big black button nose on a puppy, especially next to the little white face. And orange color is 725 grams. Now you can see what I mean about how she is always anxious to be at the milk bar. She was only 317 when she was born, so she has more than doubled her birth weight, and you can see there is a good sized tummy happening on this little lady. She is quite a little character. It really has a lot of personality that you can see. And my goodness, when she wants something, there is no denying it. Next we have Pink Collar Girl. Pink Collar is our black and white girl. I'm not sure if you can see, but she's got her hind leg here over her brother there. So we'll just get her out from her position. Hi, sweetheart. Now you'll hear me talking to the puppies, but of course they cannot hear yet. They can't see yet and they can't hear yet. The only sense they have that works right now is their noses. And they use their noses, they use their noses to tell them everything right now. They use that to understand the scent of spirit and know that their mom is nearby. They understand my scent already and that I'm nearby, although I am of no value to them at all. But their noses also act as heat sensors, and that's how they find spirit. So when I'm in the whelping box, as I am a lot, with spirit, the puppies will be able to sense my heat as well as her body heat, and they'll often come and try and nurse off of me because that's the only thing they have to go on. So this little girl was going to have a black nose, of course, because she is a black and white puppy. So she's what we call a black abstract. And an abstract is when you have white markings on a solid color. You also hear people refer to abstracts as mismarks or flash. So I tend to call them abstracts or flash. It depends. Sometimes the white markings can be not in any sort of pattern, whereas on Pink Collar Girl, you'll see that she has them on her feet, and they're all very symmetrical and even in the amount that she has her toes dipped into white. She has a teensy little white tip on her tail. Her white marking on her face is very straight, a little bit like her skunk stripe here. And my most favorite feature right now that she has that's going to disappear, of course, is the two little black spots as her nose fills in. And then under her chin, her little goatee, and then quite a lot on her stomach and chest. So for her, I would refer to her as Flash, just because it makes her look all kind of flashy and fancy. You pretty girl. And Pink Collar Girl is 558 grams. And when she was born, she was 305 grams. So she hasn't quite doubled her body weight yet, but very close. Not to the point where I would ever be the least bit concerned. She's a slightly smaller puppy than Orange Collar, definitely smaller than Orange Collar. But you can still, she still is nice and round and has that nice big full tummy there. There you go, Pinky. I put you down there. There we go, good girl. Next is Yellow Collar, and Yellow Collar is the other black puppy in the litter. And this was our first boy that was born in the litter. We only have 2 boys in this litter. And Mr. Yellow Collar is a gorgeous black phantom. He is handsome, and I think my favorite thing about this boy is how his legs are marked. So we've got the black, the copper, a little line of black, and then just a little smidge of those white dipped toes. On this paw here, we don't have the black is a little bit less visible in terms of a line than it is on this foot, and he doesn't have as much white on his toes there. But this left foot of his, to me, is just so cool. And then on his hind feet, it's very much the same thing, where we have the phantom markings, the white dipped toes, and you can see he has a little teensy little tip of white on the end of his tail. His phantom markings are up on his legs. You can see he also has phantom markings across his chest, if he'll show them to us, and along with the white on his chest. So that makes him a tri, because he really has 3 colors on him. And this ebony coat, oh, it just glistens. It just shines so much. It's just such a gleaming, beautiful color. Black is my favorite color for Labradoodles or any dog. I just love them because they have such beautiful coats. And when you set them off with the tan points of Phantom, it's really quite a striking look. This little Yellow Collar fellow, this is a quiet puppy. Very, very quiet, not pushy at all. quite often is the one that is seeking out that underneath place at the milk bar because everybody else has got the better spots. And yellow collar is 628 grams, and when he was born, he weighed 287. So he's doing really well in his weight gain department. Yes, you are. And that was the last puppy that was born at home. That was when we ran into trouble. Spirit was having contractions and pushing, and she did that for a solid 45-50 minutes without producing a puppy. So when your girl is pushing, you don't want her ever to be pushing with good strong contractions for more than 2 hours, because then you know something's not right. And we live an hour's drive away from the 2 emergency hospitals that are available to us. And of course, the puppies are always born on a weekend, usually Sunday, and always late at night. Heaven forbid they would be born during the time when your vet is open. So knowing that we had about an hour's drive before we got to emergency, we only let Spirit continue to push for about 50 minutes before we called ahead and took her in. So it wasn't a stuck puppy, which was what I had anticipated was likely the problem, but it was the 2 placentas. So 2 of the puppies were born outside of the sac, and then those sacs got stuck. And so she wasn't able to expel them or deliver the next 2 puppies. So we just had a little bit of help from a drug that's called oxytocin, and that enabled her to deliver her last 2 puppies. There was a long wait before she finally did deliver the next puppy, who is green collar, right here. It was a long wait, and we very much did not want to do a cesarean. We never want to do a cesarean, just like with people, so we waited as long as we could. She was not in distress, and the puppy was not in distress. So that's one of the great things when you go to emergency. They, of course, can monitor everything. They know that the puppies are not in any way being compromised or put at risk, and so they can just go ahead and continue to monitor, and we can wait and hope for the best. And luckily, the oxytocin did its job, and Spirit did her job, and little green collar was delivered. Hey, Mr. Handsome. Little green collar is started off as the tiniest puppy, and is still the tiniest puppy today. But when he was born, he was 235 grams, which is considerably smaller than the others. And now he's 467 grams. So when he first came home, I gave him a little bit of a boost. We have a product that is designed, it's a little paste, and you just put a little, very small amount, just a drop, having a little dream there, on the roof of the mouth, and that just gets the puppy stimulated. It helps their appetite, and it also gives them a little boost of energy. So just because he was small, I gave him that to make sure that he was vigorous and that he was going to have enough desire and capacity to nurse, and he certainly does. He is very good at finding his spot. He is well aware of the fact that he needs to be near the front, because the front teats are not as desirable for the other puppies because they have less milk. But because he's smaller, that's perfect for him. He doesn't want the great big huge full back ones that come out really fast, because he's just little. So it works out perfectly. He already knows that. He's adjusted, and that's the spot he goes to. And this little sweetheart is also a caramel, and he is going to end up looking very much like Spirit. You can see his beautiful markings on his back, but they're very pale gold. He is a really light color caramel. So he's going to end up looking quite a bit like Spirit. And you can see he's got so much white on his face here. Yeah, and he is still all pink in terms of his leathers. He has one little spot of color here on his nose, just the tiniest little one here, and it looks like it might be black, but we just are going to have to wait and see, because he's not giving me any signs if he's going to be a black or a brown puppy. Yes, he's not telling anybody yet. This is a sweet puppy, so sweet. I think it's because he's so small that he seems so adorable, but he also has a very nice way about him, and he's very able to have recognized that he gets help from me in order to find the right place for him at the milk bar. Here you go, my little guy. There. There we go. Are you okay? There we go. Yeah. And last but not least is blue collar. So it's green and yellow are the only two boys in the litter. Everyone else is female. Oh, and there's Green's gonna go hang out with his bro there. And blue collar girl. Blue collar girl took forever to be born as well. Between green collar and blue collar being born, it was more than an hour. And after being up all night, it was 6 in the morning when he arrived. It seemed to me like it was about 3 hours between them, but it was really only just around an hour. And you can see quite clearly that blue collar girl has a beautiful big black nose like her mama. So she is going to be an apricot in terms of her color. Beautiful, beautiful shade, just a gorgeous color, sort of like a spun gold. And then she has this pretty little bit of fun white on the top of her head, almost in the shape of a fleur-de-lis. And then she has some white on her toes, and she has that adorable little white tip tail. Every single one of these puppies has the little white tip tail. You would think that this was Copper's litter rather than Tatlow's. I guess those two boys both are going to present their that quality in all their puppies. And then you see she has lots of beautiful white on her chest. So she is got lots of flash, yes. No sass though. She's a quiet little thing, very, very sweet, nice little girl. And she's 592 grams. And when she was born, she weighed in at 291. So she's doing just great at her weight as well. I'm giving you a little look down her throat there. So you can see really clearly on her that she has the black leathers, big black nose. Her lips, you can see quite clearly, are black there. Yeah, you show us your mouth again. That's a good girl. Thanks for the show and tell. And already you can see on her little feet, the little pink pads are getting to be some black ones too. So I'm just going to put her back down there so I don't stress her out by holding her too much. So that's all the puppies in the litter. The main thing that they've done this week is get adjusted to living at home, get into their routine. They all nurse so well, and not once, oh no, that's not true, once, only once, since they've come home have I had to get up at night. Spirit does a fabulous job with them. Now Spirit, because she's experienced, she doesn't worry about them as much as a brand new mom does. So she has her bed here, she has her donut bed, and quite often she'll choose to remove herself from the box. She actually right now likes to sleep on the hardwood a lot because it's still summer and quite warm outside, and that way she cools off. And she can look out the glass doors and feel like she's participating in our lives still. She can hear everything. She can see the other dogs. She can see us when we're in the kitchen area and in the dining area, and she can see everyone who comes in and out of the door. She can also has windows, so she is able to see the entire front of the property. So if somebody's coming to visit or deliver something, she knows who's here. So when Taylor comes, she knows right away. Her ears are up and she's already saying, okay, let me out. She'll come out quite a bit. She does come out down the back with us already and comes out and plays around a bit. She doesn't like to be out for too long, and she just comes and stands either beside Reynold or myself when she feels it's time to come back and make sure the babies are okay. And she knows how to open the door to come in here and check on them. She's fairly open about letting the other dogs take a peek at her puppies, but there is a boundary and no one is permitted to pass that boundary. So she's doing just a great job with them, and you can really, it really shows on how calm and relaxed these puppies are. And you can see black collar girl there. She's already starting to move around quite a bit. Like I said, Spirit's puppies are always ahead of the curve when it comes to meeting milestones. I'll be surprised if they don't all have their eyes open when we do next week's video. And I promise we will do it on the right day next week when they are actually 2 weeks, not 2 weeks and 2 days. So we'll have all of that working out properly. And in the meantime, the types of things that we do with the puppies are just little tiny, minor early neurological stimulation. So I come in at least 5 times a day to sit with them. All of them are handled each time. They've already all had their collars loosened once, and every time I handle them, I'll do something different. So it may be just something as simple as holding them upside down like this. And then once I know they're comfortable with that, I'll rub their tummy for them. Make sure that they're still relaxed and calm while I'm doing this. The other types of things we do is something that's just out of the ordinary. So it could be as simple as holding them like this, because normally that is not a position they'd be in. And we'll also flip that around and we'll hold them briefly with their head down. And that's about all we'll do. And then we also take lots of care and time and attention to fiddle with their feet. Every single one of their toes individually, inside their pads. We touch them all over. You saw how I made the mouth open like that. I'll put my finger in, touch around the eyes, the ears. Now they may not hear anything that I'm doing in their ears, but they definitely get used to me touching their ears. And I'll take their tails, touch their tails, do all sorts of things like that, just to make sure that no matter what I do, they're calm and they're relaxed about the whole thing. But we don't stress them to the point where they're like, oh, what are you doing to me? It's just to give them a tiny little bit of a different activity they wouldn't experience normally in a positive way. Because this starts to set them up for being prepared for lots of positive experiences in their lives, and always having that first reaction to something new being something that where they're curious and they're inquisitive about it, but never fearful. And so the next thing we'll start doing is we'll start putting them on different surfaces. So I'll get something that's a little bit chilly and bring it in and put them on there just briefly. We'll put sometimes even it's something as simple as this washcloth, which has been dried outside, and so it's a little bit rough. And then also do things like roll things up, put it in front of the puppy like this, in between the puppy and Spirit, and they have to problem solve and figure out how to get around or over that washcloth to get to the milk bar. So those are all the types of things that we do to keep them stimulated mentally and to also encourage them to enjoy new experiences. So I hope you enjoyed the update today. If you have any questions or comments, please post them below. I'm always happy to talk about anything to do with Labradoodles. And if you did like the video and have a moment to give us a thumbs up, that'd be great. We would really appreciate it. And we really recommend that you subscribe to our channel, because that way you'll get notification of all of our videos. So right now we have 5 litters, and every litter gets a weekly update. And each one will have a little bit of information in it that the other one doesn't. At least I hope I don't repeat myself too much. So you learn a little bit from every single one of them, we hope. That's always our goal. And also, if you're watching this video and you're on the list for one of these puppies, then I would encourage you to start watching our playlist, Puppies 1, 2, 3, and just go through that. And that will be the educational component of your 8-week time with us while these puppies go from just born to going home with you. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next week.